Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, MIL says she deserves to know when we start trying for a baby. Entitled mom wants me to change her child's grade. My parents try to guilt me into having kids. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. MIL says she deserves to know when we start trying for a baby. Oh boy. You already know. I'm 23F, husband is 27M. She said I deserve to know when you're going to start trying to have kids. I don't need all the gory details, but I do think I deserve to know the truth and have a heads up. When I was explaining, way too nicely, how that was TMI and that we would want to wait to announce in case I had a loss or something, she then went on a rant about how I'm disgusting. All she wanted when she had a loss was to go cry to her mom and tell her everything. So for me to want to keep her grandbaby a secret, despite all the support she would give me because she just wants to help, is absolutely disgusting. All of this occurred on a phone call when my husband and I were announcing that we had just bought our first home, and instead of a normal congratulations, we got roasted with insults. We're disrespectful, how selfish of us to not include them in our home buying process. We need to humble ourselves and ask them for help because they bought a house before and we haven't. They're so hurt and we're moving a few hours away, so we're taking away the kind of grandparents they want to be. On and on about how our actions affect their lives, and we need to share what's going on in our lives and not be so secretive. Oh yeah, and we are the entitled ones apparently. For living our own lives and not wanting their opinions. Not sure how that works. Congratulations on having the sense to move a few hours away. Makes it harder for MIL to be in your business all the time. And if she doesn't start backing off, tell her the only type of grandmother she's going to be is grandma that we never see. LOL. Speaking of being in our business. She was also mad because she had been spending months searching all over the state for a piece of land to build a compound that she wanted us to move onto with her. She's already talked both her parents and her in-laws into it, but apparently was also planning on announcing to us soon about us joining too. And it's so disrespectful of us because we've now wasted all her time planning it out to be so perfect for us. This lady is delusional. MIL, if you don't pull your head out, you won't find out about any grandbabies until they graduate college. Insulting us and acting entitled won't get you what you want. You should have probably bought a house several states away. If they're on the East Coast, a few hours is a few states away. She said it herself, all she wanted to do was to go to her mom and cry. She is not your MOM. Congrats on the baby and the move. Both you and husband are doing great. Make sure you ignore all her advice and demands. Oh man, just wait till you have a child and she starts trying to make decisions for your child that contradict yours. I know you're leaning this way already, but do not tell her when you decide to try. I'm betting that she wants to be able to calculate your due date from that admission. She sounds bonkers. This kind of demand for TMI makes my blood boil. Ask her when she started menopause and how has it affected her mentally, cause that's important to know. Mine too. The crazy part here is that she would just tell me. There is nothing off limits with this woman. She has no filter, no boundaries, and she believes that within families everyone has to share everything. They tell their parents everything too. It's like she thinks her way is the best and only way, and anyone who disagrees is just wrong. How you can get to 50 years in this world and honestly not understand difference of opinion? Yikes. I'd be the asshole to send her a spreadsheet with exact dates and times of all the occurrences of DH ejaculating and title it something like Sperm Skee-Ball Tournament 2023. Give her all the gory details. For example, hi mom, husband, and I raw dogged all night. His sperm is now in a life or death race to my ovaries. Just thought you might like to know. Bye. My gut's telling me she wants to know as early as possible so they can pack up and move closer. I'd tell her after the baby's born. Actually, duck that, when the child is old enough to drink alcohol, lol. I hope your husband is firmly planted on your side because you are going to need it. It sounds like you have excellent boundaries, but I would suggest this conversation is over now when she starts her crap. Don't buy into the argument, let her know all she gets is silence if she runs her mouth. Entitled mom wants me to change her child's grade. So I'm a first-year high school teacher for 10th grade English. I have this one student who throughout the school year didn't try on his work. Examples would be that he'd only half finish worksheets or not participate in what we were doing in class. I gave him plenty of chances to make up work and even do some extra credit, as I didn't want to see any of my students fail, though I know I can't prevent everyone from failing and they have to put effort in for themselves. Well, even after all that, he still slacked off and basically didn't care about it. He cared about passing, he just didn't want to do the work from what I can assume from the interaction. Anyways, I got an email from his mother the other day asking for a parent-teacher conference, something that I've done a lot lately since it's only a week until the end of the school year. I agree and set a date. While in the conference, the mother starts to tell me about how her son is passing, but barely passing, his other classes, and she really wants him to pass all his classes. I told her that I wanted all my students to pass as well because I care about all of their futures, but he hasn't put forth the effort to pass the class. She then tells me that he did the work and put in effort on what he did do in the class and that I should just drop all the other grades that made him fail for him so he can pass. I told her no, that it wasn't going to work like that. I could maybe give him some extra credit grades that he could do, but even then it might not pass him. She then proceeds to tell me that she'll have him do them if I drop the rest of his failing grades. This went on for some time with not much progress being made until I finally told her that the best I could do was replace one of his lowest grades with what he makes on an extra credit assignment, but I wouldn't do anything else, to which she huffed that we'll see about that. After she ended up leaving, and the next day I gave him the extra credit, but as the deadline to turn them into me looms closer, I doubt that he'll do it and he'll fail either way. She's gonna be sitting in with his future boss asking for a full day's pay for a few minutes of work. Why do you think Bill Gates likes lazy people? Because lazy people in the IT field will try to find a way to get their job done as quickly as possible and with doing next to nothing. Well, those were the hardest few minutes of his life. Karen. Unless he has accommodations, don't do it. She will tell other parents you can be bullied. I just finished my 30th year teaching high school English. You have graded his work the same way you have graded the other 120 to 180 students you teach. It's not fair of her to try and bully you. And if an admin asks you to change it, tell them you want it in writing and sign stating that this is a direct order. In my state, falsifying grades is illegal. If you have a union and aren't a member, join now and have a union rep present at any meetings regarding this matter. I don't plan on backing down on my position. The one study guide he has that he can turn in for extra credit is given to all of my students. They all have the same opportunity to drop and replace their lowest grade with it, which is why I told the mother that it was the best I could do. That entitled mother is not doing her kid any favors. When I used to work in a high school, we had parents like that. Maybe tell her she'd be better off teaching her son personal accountability instead of trying to get passing grades for next to no effort. I love how they wait until the very last second rather than addressing it with their kid at midterm. One of my friends taught for a few years at a private elementary school. She taught keyboarding/computer usage. Since this was 20 plus years ago, she had to assume not everyone had computers or access to it at home. So all work was done in class. Kids would still fail. Parents never responded to mid-semester grades. They never stopped by at parent-teacher night. They just freaked out the last few weeks, and how dare you fail my kid? A line I like to use is that I don't fail students. I record the choices they make as they fail themselves. That is the most beautiful thing I've read all day. I used to point out that giving their child extra credit assignments makes additional work for the teacher to make up for work the student didn't do. Let guidance know of the additional steps you took to give this student a path to success. It's not you, it's him. And the parent knows that deep down. Hang in there. Ugh. I've been teaching high school math for 20 years. I don't have enough fingers and toes to count the number of students that approached me with 1 or 2 weeks left in the year to ask what they could do to pass. I eventually just told them to go to Home Depot, buy material, build a time machine, and go back to the beginning of the year and do the work. This typically ends the conversation. Entitled mom wants me to change her child's grade. How about you change your child so they do a job worthy of the grade you want? My parents try to guilt me into having kids. My parents are constantly trying to guilt me into having kids. My husband and I have told them several times that at this point in our lives we don't want kids and are happy without them. We are both very successful in our careers and involved in our community, and my parents don't seem to understand how hurtful it is to act like we aren't good enough unless we have kids when we have worked so hard to get what we have. They went as far as to say they have decided to downsize their home because there is no point in living in a big house if they don't have grandkids, implying it is my fault that they will be leaving my childhood home. Almost every conversation I have with them goes back to, when are you having kids? I am so fed up. How do other non-kid people deal with this? Mom and Dad, are you happy having me in your life? Of course, OP. Well then STFU about me having children, or you won't see me, am I clear? Our decision to have or not have kids is ours and ours alone, and we will not be nagged or guilt-tripped into it. This is the last time I will have this discussion on this topic. If you bring it up again, you will not see us again. We love you, but we have told you time and time again to stop, but you continue to harass us about something that is none of your business. Enough with the kid talk, or you won't have us in your life. In writing so they can reread it when they start to forget. Go limited or no contact for a while. They'll figure it out. You've already set boundaries regarding this topic, but they just don't respect it. Best to go low contact or no contact for a while. My mom was like this with my sister and I. But after our kids were born, she didn't want to be involved or help out in any way at all. All she cares about is posting pictures on Facebook that she didn't take because she's never around. I love my son and I am so glad I had him, but when my mom started asking when we were going to have a second, I could have reached through the phone and slapped her. Kids are amazing. I wanted my son very much, but it changes your life completely. So if that's not what you want, that's okay. Children should be brought into homes where their parents want them, not where they were pressured to have them. Anyway, check our r/absent grandparents and you'll see a ton of stories just like mine. It's your life, live it how you want. And if you're worried you might change your mind later, you can always freeze your eggs. I tell some people I'm barren. I don't have a clue if I am or not, because I'm tired of being asked why a woman in her 30s who has been married for nearly a decade doesn't have kids. That makes them shut up. I started with jokes, oh, we are expecting a puppy in 6 months, or depends how drunk we get this weekend. Nope, not good enough. Saying you are barren gives them the guilt trip they deserve. Sterilized also works. Sometimes even bigger emotional damage for them. If niceness doesn't work, try dirty. Do you too realize how creepy, disgusting, and repulsive you sound when you keep asking your own child over and over again about when they plan on getting a big sloppy cream pie in the bedroom from your son-in-law? If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.